Hello friends! Initially, the crossover was available with a 1.6 EcoBoost petrol turbo engine, 150 and 182 horsepower, and a 2.0 TDCi turbo diesel, 140 horsepower. A 163 horsepower diesel was not officially offered. After restyling, instead of 1.6 EcoBoost, a turbocharged 1.5 EcoBoost, 150 and 182 horsepower, was installed. It is a smaller version of the 1.6 EB. The change in volume is achieved by reducing the piston stroke from 81.4mm to 76.4mm, while maintaining a cylinder diameter of 79mm. The timing drive of both turbo engines is belt-driven. It should be updated every 90,000 kilometers. After 80 to 120,000 kilometers, the turbine solenoid valve of the 1.6 EB may fail. EcoBoost engines are excessively heat-loaded and are afraid of even a slight increase in operating temperature. A slight deviation from the norm immediately results in damage to the head of the block or the block itself. Cracks occur. The pre-reform 1.6 EBs are most susceptible to the problem. With the 1.5 EB cooling system, the engineers did a little work, but they never completely got rid of the misfortune. Leaks of antifreeze from the cooling system contributed to the problem, resulting from cracking of the expansion tank, pipes, or a failed tank cap valve. In 2018, the manufacturer launched a recall campaign to replace potentially vulnerable parts. The new tank received a liquid level sensor, and the engine management program was updated to notify in a timely manner about the loss of antifreeze. A number of 1.5-liter 150 horsepower engines in 2017 Kugas went through warranty repairs due to piston cracking. Since 2014, the model has also included a 2.5-liter gasoline aspirator developing 150 horsepower. The 4-cylinder engine from the Duratec family was developed by Mazda, a representative of the MZR series. Cars with such an engine were exclusively front-wheel drive. 2.5 with distributed fuel injection has a phase shifter on the intake shaft and a completely reliable timing chain drive. Atmospheric 2.5 is characterized by leakage of engine oil from under the valve cover, pan or engine front cover, a factory defect. The disease is eradicated by over-consolidation. Sometimes the throttle starts to fail. Sometimes it can be brought to life after cleaning. In some cases, the malfunction is caused by damage to the wiring harness of the engine ECU. If the throttle assembly is stuck, then it has to be changed. In conclusion, it is worth mentioning several cases of cracking of the atmospheric 2.5 block between the second and third cylinders. The 2-liter turbo diesel is well known from the Mondeo 4. It was officially offered until 2015. The timing drive is combined. One of the camshafts is driven by a toothed belt, and the camshafts themselves are interconnected by a short chain. The belt is recommended to be changed every 90,000 kilometers. One of the common malfunctions is the burning of the fuel filter heating contacts in the fuel filter cap. The defect causes difficulties with starting in winter. At high mileage, the turbine control valve or Delphi fuel injectors may be moping. After 250 to 300,000 kilometers, the injection pump and turbocharger may require attention. The supports of the Kuga power units become unusable after 100 to 150,000 kilometers. The right hydro support is usually surrendered first. The base was a 6-speed manual transmission, front-wheel drive versions. After restyling, it disappeared from the list of offers. Gasoline engines were combined with the 6F35 6-band automatic, a joint development of Ford and General Motors. Its design is close to the rather unsuccessful GM 6T30/40 box. Diesel vehicles with all-wheel drive were aggregated with a PowerShift 6DCT 450 dual-clutch robotic gearbox. Getrag's 6-speed power shift did not find universal love. The clutch, the so-called wet type, wore out by 100,000 kilometers. Dampers sagged, and plastic inserts, retainers, collapsed. The fragments fell into the valve body and solenoids, which led to incorrect and rough operation of the box and accelerated wear. After 2014, the power shift box was finalized, and the clutch unit was strengthened. The box received the designation 6DCT-451. Unfortunately, the upgraded clutch unit does not fit the 6DCT-450. There were also cases among the classic automatic machines installed on cars of 2013 to 2015 of release. Moreover, the spread in mileage at which the malfunction occurred is quite large, from 20 to 250,000 kilometers. Repairs could require a torque converter, valve body, input shaft, oil pump, and differential gears. In addition, a number of owners contacted the service with a complaint about the squeak that occurs when reverse gear is engaged. To eliminate it under warranty, the valve block and the valve body gasket were changed. The all-wheel drive system uses Ford's own development, the ATC, Active Torque Coupling System. The same was installed in the 5th Explorer. When starting and cornering, a certain part of the movement is transferred to the rear wheels. When driving on the highway, the center clutch disables the rear-wheel drive. In all-wheel drive versions, often after 50 to 100,000 kilometers, oil leakage is detected through the oil seal of the right drive shaft. Sometimes leaks are observed through the shank of the transfer case. The gland is replaced as an assembly with a flange. The predecessor's suspension settings were unnecessarily stiff. In the second generation, the balance has shifted towards comfort. At the same time, Kuga did not lose the ability to drive fast. Obedient cornering behavior is achieved, among other things, thanks to the TVC thrust vector control system. It slows down one of the drive wheels. It is an analog of XDS from VAG. McPherson struts are installed on the front axle and a multi-link scheme on the rear axle. Silent blocks and ball bearings of the front levers usually go at least 100 to 150,000 kilometers, but the rear levers are rented earlier, in the segment of 50 to 100,000 kilometers. Similar resource ratio front and rear shock absorbers. Wheel bearings can make noise after 60 to 120,000 kilometers. If the front ones are changed separately, then the rear ones are assembled with the hub. The steering is equipped with an electric power steering. Owners note that over time, the steering rack begins to knock. Ford acknowledged the design defect, but argued that the knocking was not a malfunction and did not affect safety. Even after the warranty replacement of the rail or its repair, the knock returned after a while. The body of the Ford Kuga II is well protected against corrosion. However, many owners find paint swelling at the bottom of the inside of the doors. During operation, rubbing of the paint to the metal under the hood, Jabot seal, on the inside of the doors, door panels, on the tailgate, overlay above the number plate, is detected. In restyled copies, the paintwork of the rear wing, far corner, and the bumper at the point of contact with the lamp may be damaged. Rust smudges that appear from under the exterior mirrors can also be discouraging. These are the consequences of corrosion of the metal frame of the mirrors. The filler of the driver's seat is pressed through and loses elasticity already by 30 to 80,000 kilometers. It wears out on the metal frame of the chair. Sometimes the brake reservoir screws loosen spontaneously. If you know of other model malfunctions, be sure to write about it.